for anybody that might be watching this on YouTube, we will be going with the Zoom meet. We'll start at 5:30, so it'll be a couple of more minutes. I just wanted to make sure that we were there. Okay. Okay, I think we're testing the sound on this live stream, so hopefully it's working. I won't know. Hi, Sue. Hi, Rebecca.
All right, I made it in.
That's kind of how I feel.
I heard this was a popular meeting.
Yeah.
Well, it was last week. We'll find out if it is this week.
Pat is muted.
Oh, don't say that.
Need to unmute Pat.
Why is nothing coming up?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
The more important question is.
I just need to start the video so you can see me. Oh,
I can see your forehead. There we
there we go.
Can you hear me now, Sue?
Yes, not very loud, but yes.
Okay. The other good news is that we're also live streaming this on YouTube. So that'll be a first. So we'll wait a couple more minutes for more people to show up. Of course, it hopefully we'll get, over 100 participants again so that they can go to YouTube. And then I guess, do I get like a little badge or something for being like a YouTube live streamer?
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
All right, somebody needs to take care of that for me.
I laughed at your email saying that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm learning from my niece.
That's awesome. That's exactly how this is supposed to be, kind of. This learning curve is crazy.
Did you guys get my survey? I sent the survey in this morning. I did have one question, but now I have two more.
Well, you know what? You might as well take this 1 minute to ask them because you may not get another chance.
Okay. My first question was, we had signed up with Miss Ramey for a couple of days after school for tutoring. I think it was for math. And the other thing was, what documents are going to be needed for the drive-through registration?
Okay, we'll cover all that. That's a good question. We'll cover all that.
And then the question that I did on the survey was, the question I did on the survey was, what were the time periods for the registration drive-through? That wasn't in the email.
Okay, cool. We'll go over that also.
Okay. You mean I can't butt in while we're doing this?
Well, you can, but our webmaster Zoom guru will mute you. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Who knows?
I'm pretty mean.
She's rough. She's tough.
Oh my goodness! I better watch out for her.
Cool. Well, we'll wait one more minute and then we'll start. And hopefully none of you guys are on Zoom and YouTube at the same time.
No.
And Sue, I certainly hope that hack email did not come out of my my YouTube attempts.
I don't know. The only person I've had who's complained to me of any unusual activity on their computer wasn't you. It was John. It was Joe Baker.
Okay. Well, he got my email also. So.
Yeah, but he may have gotten it because he's the origin.
Oh.
Yeah, Anna from PSA, she was just texting me that she got it too last, and I told her to ignore it.
Good. I don't know where it came from. So
is somebody trying to connect on the other side of Rebecca?
I don't know. I'm not sure what that means.
No, some people just don't use their video.
I
prefer
gotcha.
not to have their video showing.
Well, I'm beautiful.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Yes, it'll work on your phone very easily. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Thank you. You got it. Okay. Bye. Sorry, that was a question about the meeting. Okay, well, we can start because I don't care who's here. Whoever's here is here. Okay?
We already have 66 people.
Wow, that's beautiful. All right, so we'll see. And I have no idea to tell if anybody's even watching me on live or if I'm even live on YouTube, but it sure looks like it. And it's a shame that I have to look at my face twice. Okay, first I want to thank you guys for showing up. And I want to thank you for your patience. We're going to need a tremendous amount of patience from you guys through this whole period because we get information sporadically and it varies from moment to moment. So we're doing the best we can. This meeting should be strictly Early College Academy parents and families and students, and because we're mostly going to talk about Early College Academy. At 6:30, we're going to have another one of these meetings for CEC, and we'll cover a little bit slightly different information. We're going to throw a lot at you right now. We're going to share a lot. We had a great start to our year with a staff meeting today, and we covered a lot of information. It was actually overwhelming. So let's start, and let us start with one of the biggest questions we've had, which is about the registration. All right, to respect everybody's desires during this coronavirus situation, we're going to do a drive-through registration with some caveats. On August 10th and 11th, which is next Monday and Tuesday, we are going to have a drive-through registration from 9 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. And we are not going to have it in any particular order. So whatever time you can come between 9 and 2, we will accept you in our bus lane, and we will just have a line if there's that many people. For anybody that's on this that works between 9 and 2 and can't make it or is worried about it, I'm here every morning at 5:30. I will take you from 5:30 till 9. But you will probably have to come in the building because I will, or you'll have to call me to get in the building. But we can gladly make that happen. So if you start work at 7 and you want to come at 6, come on by. I'll be here. And then we can get you your information. In terms of the drive-through registration, we are going to have a bag of, I think it's cool to call it a goodie bag for the students, and textbooks also. And for any students that need a device, we are going to have a device for you to check out. That's one of the caveats. You have got to fill out some paperwork and sign it so that we can assure that we're going to get that device back, and because we want these back. Eventually, every student is going to have a Chromebook, but right now we don't have enough. So if you have a device at home or if you have your own laptop, please continue to use that until we can check you out a Chromebook. So we really only want people to check out a Chromebook right now that need one as a device. And I got to tell you, I would rather you have a Chromebook than your phone, because there's a lot of work to be done here, and you're not going to get it done on your phone. And I'm talking, that's to the students, okay? Let's see. So, and then we're going to try to snap a photo. So if you bring your student with you, we will snap a photo with a phone or somehow, just so we can have a photo to match that student, and then we'll go from there. It's not going to be the same as an ID photo, and eventually they'll have to get IDs when we go to yellow and they can come to classes.
That's a really good question. Do you mind if I interject?
Please, always.
Okay. So I saw that there was a question in the chat room. We'll do our best to answer those. Last time we had it, we just couldn't keep up. So if we're able to answer those, for sure we will. And if we have time, you can raise your hand and maybe take questions. Sue Estelle is our assistant regarding that. But with registration, if you did online registration is one part, and then coming to the drive-through registration is the second part. And the reason for that, so the online is helping us make sure all your contact information and things are current, any documents. The drive-through is specific to gather your textbooks, the students to gather their textbooks. And Chromebooks, if they need one. We definitely don't want phones. And we're also put some fun stuff in there. Miss Rowe, our activities director, some links for them to log in and get connected ahead of time. If for some reason you're not able to make it, we've already had a parent kind of reporting that their situation, they're not able to come. We can please email us or reach out to us, and we can arrange to get that to you.
Thank you.
That's all I want.
Perfect. That's beautiful. So I think what we're going to do right now is just briefly talk about ECA and show you what the schedule will look like once after the first 4 days. On the 12th, 13th, and 14th, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and on Monday the 17th, those 4 days are going to, well, actually, I'm sorry, on the 12th, 13th, and 14th, those days are going to look a lot different than the rest of the time, but we're going to get kids acquainted. We're going to talk with them. We're going to do some virtual parent meetings and like virtual home visits. We're going to be doing some stuff like that. So it's going to be a little bit different, not a ton different, but a little bit different. And then on the 17th, we're going to start with basically what our schedule will look like. Mondays will not be classes. Mondays will be times for us to meet with students. We're going to have advisory every Monday, and we're going to have some other things going on. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we will have classes. They will have to sign in. They will get their work. There'll be some asynchronous and synchronous learning, and I'll explain that in a second. And so that's going to look more like the natural schedule. And what will happen eventually when we are able to go back to face-to-face part of the time, that'll be the schedule that we'll be following, so they won't miss a beat. Ms. Estelle, can you pull, I emailed you the ECA bell schedule, and I'm assuming that you can share. So Ms. Estelle's going to share her screen with us. And for you guys on YouTube, sorry, I don't know how to share that, so that's not going to happen, but you can kind of listen.
Okay.
While she's getting that up, I'm just going to answer a few questions, boss, that I see.
Go ahead.
Can students drive themselves through the drive-through? I don't see why not.
I don't either.
Okay. So yes, students could drive themselves to pick that up. They're be great if they had a mask on. We'll all be wearing masks and doing our best. And then another question is, anything to sign during our registration process?
The only thing they would need to sign would be if they were going to check out a Chromebook device, and so they would have to sign for that. But they don't have to necessarily pick that up that day. But somebody needs to sign for it, and I don't think the student is enough.
Okay. And that drive-through registration will be August 10th and 11th, and Mr. Arguelles will be sending out a more detailed schedule regarding those 2 days.
Absolutely.
Break it down or something.
Absolutely. And guys, sorry that we're going to piecemeal a lot of things because we just don't have enough information right now. But so Miss Estelle is sharing the ECA schedule. On the right side of it is the CEC schedule. We're not going to worry about that. So
I didn't know which tab you needed in this file, Pat.
You actually picked the perfect one. So thank you. Okay. So in looking at this schedule, you will see Monday there's some things on there. So let's just take a quick peek at Monday. The biggest, most important piece of Monday is that 10 to 11 o'clock advisory period. We have asked many of our CEC teachers to participate in advisory this year. So our advisory classes are smaller. So each teacher will have anywhere from 5 to 11 kids in their advisory class. They're going to be all same grade level. So ninth graders will be with other ninth graders. 10th graders will be with other 10th graders. And we want those students to have a staff member who they can go to for any question, anytime, anywhere. Parents also. And that staff member will get that question answered and will work with the students to get whatever they need. They'll also do some interesting and fun things during that advisory period. And we're excited about it. The other periods, the other blocks of time that are there, for right now, they do have some things in there, but mostly those are going to be about some office hours, parents and students being able to connect with teachers, some tutoring opportunities. We'll schedule IEPs on Monday. We'll have support services for kids with the counselor, with the dean, with the assistant principal. We'll have opportunities for students to be one-on-one with teachers to get tutoring as necessary. And we're also going to have club and group organization meetings like student government, like Survive and Thrive, like Key Club. These will be virtual meetings, and that part is kind of exciting. Those time blocks may not necessarily be the exact ones that we use, but we're trying to give you a general idea. Then let's move over to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The beautiful part of Early College Academy is that we go to school every single day. We are going to expect students to check in every day for attendance purposes, but we are leaving it up to our teachers. Our teachers are amazing. They're amazing professionals, and we want them to create a class that works with what they're trying to teach, and everybody teaches a little bit differently. So we're going to leave it to their professionalism to determine how they're going to teach it and what they're going to offer first. Is it going to be virtual in the beginning, and then kids can work in groups on like a project-based learning type atmosphere, or is it going to be assignments, or is it going to be research? There's a lot of variety there. And I can't even put a finger on any of it because each class is going to be different. So that's kind of the exciting part. But I might as well at this point kind of talk a little bit about the difference between asynchronous learning and synchronous learning. And I will tell you, so I proudly have 9 grandchildren. 6 of them are going to be in school this year. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to test my children. And I asked them, and they had no clue what asynchronous or synchronous meant. And, they're college educated. So that made me feel much better because for a while I didn't know either. So let me just kind of define it a little bit. There's going to be 2 types of learning going on in ECA and CEC. Asynchronous learning and synchronous learning. Synchronous learning is it's online, but it's based on so it's distance ed, but it's online and it's happening in real time. So if you're doing synchronous learning at 7:30, that means at 7:30 you're checked in to the Google Meet or to the Canvas platform or whatever you're at, and you're learning that way. Asynchronous learning occurs online, and it isn't real time. It is somewhere where they can go in and check, grab some material, get an assignment, see some reading, click on. They can do it at midnight. They can do it at 7. However that works. So synchronous learning happens in real time. And the cool part of that is that you're with your classmates, you're with your instructor, you're interacting in a virtual space like a Google Meet room like we did in the spring. And I think all of our teachers are using Google Meet. And it's a really good way. You can do some video conferencing, you can do teleconferencing, live chatting. There's a lot of things like that. So some of the advantages of synchronous learning is classroom engagement. You're there with your class. You have 20 students, 25 students, 12 students, whatever class whatever size your class is, and you're engaging actively with your teacher and other students. The learning can be dynamic. And it's pretty cool. And there's also an opportunity for teachers to have some instructional depth in that classroom. So some of the disadvantages are, and these are important. It's a rigid schedule, so it's kind of locked in stone. You got to be there at 7:30. You got to be there at 8:30. You got to be there at 9:30. And it doesn't take into account technical difficulties, which can be getting logged in, having the internet, connectivity, those issues. And that's a separate issue. So asynchronous learning kind of happens on your own schedule. You get to decide when you're going to learn. And we will have a little bit of that throughout the time. It's kind of a little bit how Eca-Cec works. You go sign into the class and you pick up your assignments and you work on them. Asynchronous learning is flexible. It allows for you to do your own pacing. If you're watching a video and you don't understand, you can go backwards. We were just talking about that today with anatomy and physiology. Some of those videos are a little bit intense. You can pause it, you can rewind it basically, and review it again. So it allows you to do pacing at your own, it allows you to do learning at your own pace. Asynchronous learning is also, there's an affordability factor to that, but we don't have to talk about that. A disadvantage of asynchronous learning is isolation, okay? You're kind of working alone. You don't get to interact with your classmates. There's no social element to asynchronous learning. You are alone. And so with that self-guided environment comes, sounds cool, but there's a little bit of risk of apathy and just, you know what, I'll get to it when I get to it. You know how New Mexico is, land of mañana, and so that part we don't really like about it. So the reason that we're going to touch base on asynchronous and synchronous learning is because when you're looking at the schedule, we have 45-minute blocks for pretty much every period. We have a little bit longer block for periods 5 and 6, which is mostly freshmen. But I don't want a teacher to take that 45-minute block and set up their Google Meet and make kids endure them for 45 minutes. You guys are going to hate me at the end of this hour. So can you imagine 45 minutes with a teacher for 4 days in a row? It would be agony. And then multiply that by 4 or 5 or 6. It would be intense agony. We want teachers to go in and maybe have a Google Meet and meet for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 10 minutes. Start the class going and really figure out what they need to do in that period of time. And then they kind of go asynchronous. They can work on at their own pace. Maybe the teacher moves them into groups and they can have group discussions. Every class is going to look a little bit different. And I don't even want to begin to explore that possibility because really, literally, every class will be different. So we want to limit the amount of face-to-face that they have with the teacher for the most part, okay? Some days may be totally asynchronous. A student might check in the morning. Let's say they check into their period 2 class at 8:30. They sign in. Teacher says, hey, you're on your own. They go to the website, or they go to the Google Doc, or they go to whatever the teacher has. They pick up their assignment, and they can do it anytime they want. They don't have to do it then. They can do it at night. They can do it at lunch. They can do it in the morning before the next class. They just have to do it before the assignment is due. And so we're going to try to guide our students in the proper way to do online learning, and we're going to use a combination of synchronous and asynchronous learning. And we think that the outcome for this will be that we will produce a student capable of handling their own schedule and doing the assignments they need to do.
Just 2 things I wanted to touch upon, Mr. Arguelles, if you don't mind.
I don't.
I know that the next hour we're going to be talking about CEC, and it's going to be focused to those families. But looking at the schedule now, did you want to touch upon CEC would then take place? I know there's a little overlap, or if you don't want to go there right now.
No, that's great. That's awesome. So let's
so that they don't have to come back at 6:30 if they don't want to.
Perfect. So eventually almost every student is taking CEC or dual credit classes through CEC. And so it's important that they understand that, especially for you families that have sophomores, juniors, or seniors. If you look at that schedule, it's pretty darn close to where we were at last year, or in the past period. Okay, so CEC will only be in operation on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you had a session 1 class, you would have normally had a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday class. Now you're only going to have Tuesday, Thursday. Same thing with session 2. Instead of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's Tuesday through Friday. And then in session 3, if you had a Monday, Wednesday class, you now have a Wednesday, Friday class. And we made those same changes for the dual credit classes that we have. So, for example, EMT will be a Tuesday, Thursday morning class. EMT will be a Tuesday through Thursday class in session 2. And you can see the delineation marked off by session 1A, session 1C, session 2, and session 3.
I just thought it was good to give it just a glance.
No, I agree. And so your schedule when you go to Synergy and you pull up your schedule, you'll see the CEC classes or dual credit classes you have, and you'll know what you're supposed to do or where you're supposed to go. Our expectation is that CEC teachers will teach exactly like ECA teachers are going to teach. Some assignments they'll check in, but some assignments will be asynchronous, and they can go pull it up and learn at their convenience. I'll give you an example. Cosmetology in the spring had a great deal of asynchronous learning. They were able to go watch a video that the teachers created, and then pick up a kit here at school. They would have it at home, and then they would look for a victim, typically a sister or a mom. And they would work on their hair, or they would do a facial, or they would do something following the video. Sometimes they would videotape it and submit it for grading. Sometimes it would just be practice. But it was totally asynchronous because they have to work around the schedule of people that they can work on. We have similar situation with AP Calculus BC. They can go get their assignment. He has a lot of recorded items. They just have a lot of opportunities to review work. And I think the key is they can review the work, they can review the video, they can keep going back and forth to make sure that they understand it. And many of our teachers are going to work that way. And so it's pretty exciting. And yes, we do take volunteers for those facials. No, I'm just kidding. Unless you want to go to somebody's house that you may not know, I don't know that I would advise it right now. Go ahead, Ms. Florence.
In our notes, I did not put anything about advisory, and so I just wanted to touch upon that really quick. Is that okay?
Sure, go for it.
So, and this is for the ECA parents out here. we are going to have advisory. It will take place every Monday. Am I right on that? Yes, every Monday.
From 10 to 11.
Yes, and so during that time, that's kind of like their homeroom. That's their go-to teacher. They're really going to be taking care of the social emotional learning. That's a big buzzword in education now, is SEL, social emotional learning. And so we called on some CEC teachers to help so that we could lower those numbers down. So they should be really nice, hopefully very small groups that your student can check in with. And we're hoping that first week, they'll be meeting with them frequently so that they can make sure that they know where to go and navigate this schedule, and making sure they can find their teachers and the location. So I just kind of wanted to put that in there as well, that advisory, we used to do it like, twice a month, but now it's going to be once a week, every Monday from 10 to 11.
Thank you. And I do want to tell you, we're really excited about advisory class, and we're really excited about trying to meet the socio-emotional needs of our students, because it's going to be really important. And in that vein, I want every parent and every student to know that they can reach out to Miss Florience, to Miss Ramsey, or to Miss Lopez. Miss Florience is our assistant principal, Miss Ramsey is our counselor, and Miss Lopez is our dean of students. They can reach out to me, but and I would love to have them, but most kids don't. They only come to me when they need to get yelled at. So I'm okay with that too. I'm really good at it. So we can, but whatever, they can come to me and I will help them in any manner. But one way or the other, we will support your student. We will support you also. You can reach out to us and we can have conversations. But we're going to do a lot of work on socio-emotional learning through the advisory class, and we're very excited about it. Okay. So Ms. Estelle, I think at this time I'd like to talk for a moment about the staff directory. Okay, so I think I might leave that up to you, but let me just preface that with, we want every parent and every student to know that they're gonna be able to go to our website and pull up a staff directory, and so they can look at if they don't know who their teacher is, if they don't know what's going on in their class, they can go to their schedule and they can say, oh, I've got Algebra 1 first period, and they can go and they can find that class and that teacher, and there will be a link to that meeting place for them to go to. We're going to try to make this as easy and transparent as possible. Now, we don't necessarily want parents photobombing students in their Algebra 1 class. I don't even know if the teacher would let them in, but we want you to help your students if they struggle with that, and they need to reach out. And that's why we're going to spend a lot of time on the 12th, 13th, and 14th preparing our kids to be able to access their classrooms and their Google Meets or their Zoom rooms. Sue, go ahead.
Yes. So I'm going to hang on one second. I'm going to share this screen.
Guys on YouTube, sorry that you don't get to see this also. We're going to figure this one out, though.
So on the school webpage, we have a tab at the top called Contact Us, and it's the same on every webpage in the district. And under it, we have various listings, one of which is for teachers. We also have a tab for remote, what they call a badge for remote learning. That's underneath the banner of pictures, and that also has a link to our teachers. And basically what that takes you to right now is the kind of minimalist directory listing of our teachers that the webpage template provides. But we're going to be substituting this with a more sophisticated directory that will enable you to click on a link and reach the webpage for every teacher, that will have information on how to contact them, when their office hours are, if they have documents they want to post for parents to take a look at, like a program summary or a book list or anything like that. So that's gonna be our goal. We're hoping to have that up and running over the weekend. We're asking all of our teachers to create simple web pages if they don't already have one. so that we can get them all linked. And that will be a go-to point for students and parents to go to.
And so in addition to that, in their bags when they pick up their books on Monday or their whatever they're picking up, we'll have some additional information to help them sort through that. But this part is going to be pretty exciting because every parent and every student can go to our website and get to their student's class. There will be no excuses, and we're not taking any for students who say they can't get to their class. We will help with every aspect, connectivity, getting the internet support, all of that. We'll give you a device. We'll do everything we can to help you get connected. This is going to be a no excuse year. Students are going to be graded. They're going to be there's going to be attendance, and if they don't show up to class, guess what? There's going to be attendance contracts. And because we are a school of choice, they don't show up enough. Maybe they have to disenroll from our school and go to a comprehensive high school. That's not anything we want to talk about or even do, but it's a possibility. We want students to attend, and we're making it easy for them to do that. We want parents to be able to get into Synergy, check attendance, check grades, check whatever they need to. And we want parents to be able to communicate with teachers and with administration easily. Now, you guys all know you can just call me on my cell phone anytime you want. And for the most part, I try to answer. I get a lot of phone calls lately, but I try to answer or get back. And so we want it to be open communication, period, with all of our ECA students. Well, and with all of our CEC students too, but especially our ECA students. Ms. Ramsey, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that a lot of what advisory time will be spent with the teachers and smaller groups is helping students figure out how to navigate all of this. They're going to be checking in with the students. They're going to be making sure they understand where to go, when to go. And so a lot of that first week of that time will be helping students learn how to navigate this. So not just tossing them out to the wolves, and there'll be a lot of support. And that's why we have smaller advisory groups, so they'll get that more one-on-one direct attention. So we will be working very closely to make sure kids understand the expectations and how to navigate the systems and making sure they're connected. So I know you mentioned that, but I want to just...
No, good. We can never mention enough things often enough. I want to reiterate one more time that the drive-through, because I saw a question there, the registration drive-through times are going to be 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Monday and Tuesday, but please feel free to come in before that. Typically I'm here till 3 or 4, but that's not a guarantee, but you can come even after 2 o'clock if that's how your work schedule works. But just know that you will be catered to between the hours of 9 to 2. Before and after, you're going to have to deal with me and my schedule and whatever I got going on. So it's not always that fun. Miss Florence is laughing about that. She knows how I am. Okay.
There was a few questions that I see in the chat that are relevant for right now.
Go for it.
Ramsey, thank you for reiterating that we're going to segue into this, and there will be this grace period to help get you guys on board for the 12th, 13th, and 14th, that first week. So the drive-through for registration on the 10th and 11th, we're going to be sending times out on that, okay? The window is 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., but again, we'll want to do it by, alpha and have a little more organization. So please be on the lookout for that. And as well as the first day of school, August 12th, 13th, and 14th, we're fashioning that out to send out to you all, but we just wanted to show you the resources so that you know how to find them, so that we show you where to go on the website. But that's all coming. It will, they'll have a chance. We're going to segue them into this on the 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so there's a couple of things I want to touch on. That's not really relevant right now, but it will be eventually. And that's that we will do everything we can to get you the academic and tutoring support you need. Miss Florence and Miss Lopez. Well, actually, yeah, I guess Miss Lopez will be helping with that too. But Miss Florence is the go-to for academic support. And I got to tell you, in the spring, we saw some pretty cool things. Students virtually tutoring students. teachers virtually tutoring students. It's a difficult endeavor to tutor somebody, much less do it virtually, but we made it happen, and we're feeling pretty good about this year also. I also want to tell any of you parents and students that are struggling with Parent View or Student View, again, poor Miss Flo, she is the go-to for that. But I think that, I think there might be some other people that can help too. But just reach out to us and we'll get you a new password, or we'll reset your Parent View or whatever. We'll do whatever we can to help you. So just reach out to Miss Flo first, and then we'll go from there. Then I want to touch base again with the socio-emotional learning part of that. And guys, that's vital. We have a group of kids right now that many have been isolated since March 10th. Okay. I think about my own grandchildren. They have seen their grandma and grandpa. They have seen their aunt and uncle, and they have seen their parents. That's it since March 10th. They haven't seen anything else. They haven't gone to a store. They haven't done anything. And many of our students that's happened. So we want to make sure that we take care of that socio-emotional piece and really work to get them integrated with their classmates, doing some fun stuff. I think our Survive and Thrive, some of our clubs, student government, they're going to be doing some pretty cool stuff. Look for that in a schedule to come out sometime this week, and that'll be cool. And we're excited about that. And then tech support, that's Miss Estelle. If we're having any problems with the Chromebooks that they check out, or just, you know what, Sue, tell me what kind of help you might have to deal with a parent or student.
Well, probably the first one that's going to erupt is students who can't log in because they either can't remember their password or they neglected to change it when they were told to do so. And I can help you with that. So my email address is Estelle, Estell @aps.edu. I'll put that down in the chat also. I actually don't mind if people call me as well, or text me would be better. Sometimes I don't answer if the phone number is unknown to me, but if you text me first and identify yourself as a student or a parent, then I'll know to expect your phone call, and that would work better. But I can reset your password remotely. So that's going to be the number one thing. You take your Chromebook home and you can't log into it because you can't remember your password. That's an issue. So you're gonna contact me one way or the other. I can help with that. If you are having issues with your Chromebook, I'm going to be the person you're going to call or email, and we'll talk about what's going on. If I can help you fix it remotely, great. If not, we'll swap it out. Or I may refer you to the help desk if it's something that I think they can help you with. So that's another feature. The other thing is that I'm the webmaster. So parents, if you're having problems finding things on the website, or you have suggestions on how things might be better organized, please let me know.
Very cool. Perfect.
I think that pretty much does it. Anything else you can think of?
Okay. Hey, Miss Ramsey, if you can you take a minute to discuss how you want to handle scheduling and classes, just in case kids aren't in the right place?
Well, so I've been getting a lot of those emails already. I put my email in the chat, and you can also link to the website that Ms. Estelle showed us earlier. Just email me any changes or questions in regards to scheduling that needs to be fixed, and I'm getting to them as fast as I can. So hopefully within a few hours we can get that resolved. So I saw a question about the CEC schedules not showing. I wasn't aware of that. Ms. Flo, maybe you can speak to that a little bit, but they're there. The CEC classes are there. I'm just not sure why students aren't seeing them in Student View. If you need a shift or a change, just email me and I'll take care of that. After school starts on August 12th, if a student wants to make a change in a schedule, specifically if they want to drop a CEC class, there's a form, and I can send that form out to parents as they request it as well. But we want to make sure we have a paper trail for those kinds of drops.
Okay, that's great to know.
Some good questions I saw, boss. If they had a hole in their schedule, hey, my kid has first period and then they don't have anything till fifth period.
In ECA, that shouldn't be happening. Didn't we
Well,
go through and fix every schedule?
Upperclassmen, that
Oh.
might be the with, and my thought is that they would be working on their classes during that off time, just
Right.
as they were if they were on our school building.
Right. So there's a good chance that many students, especially our seniors, I mean, there were some seniors we never even saw because they were taking UNM or CNM classes. So if your kids have a hole in their schedule, chances are it was because they were signed up to take a UNM or a CNM class that might be virtual now. So that would be an opportunity for them to do asynchronous learning, go get their assignments, and spend that time during the day studying and working hard so that they can spend the evening mopping the kitchen floor, washing the dishes, cooking dinner. Because I know you guys all have students that do that. So that works. Were there other questions too?
There was when we were talking about asynchronous and synchronous, it's going to be a work in progress. I
Yeah.
see more of the asynchronous for CEC classes, maybe as needed.
Right.
But we're all just a work in progress. So if something isn't working, we're going to pivot and we're gonna rectify that. So a lot of it is, kind of like it's a trial and error.
Thank you. And I will tell you, it is going to be a trial and error because some teachers may may have an inclination to lecture too much. Okay. And some teachers, are you done?
I'm gonna turn the hallways off now.
Okay. Thank you. Some teachers are going to have an inclination to sit and get, and we don't want that to happen. We want them to have interesting and exciting lessons and assignments, and we want them to have kids work with each other, and which brings up a whole nother level of concern with copying and plagiarism and kids working in groups where one kid does all the work and 3 kids get all the credit. Those are things we're going to work out, and we'll have conversations with parents when that kind of stuff happens. We had it happen. Our whole summer was filled with nurses on our campus working towards their LPNs, and so we had to practice safe social distancing and do some amazing learning. But there are opportunities where kids might say, "Oh, we're working together, and we'll just copy each other's work." A lot of that won't work in our classes. We'll have those conversations for another time.
I had another really great question about school supplies. What
Okay.
type of school supplies?
Great. Okay, so one of the interesting things here, I mean, I was an elementary school teacher, so I always made sure my parents had that list of 8,000 items that they had to have ready for their kids, and so at ECA that's never been a problem. I mean, teachers will do a lot of the supplying of materials, but really it's about having some paper and some pencils and pens. And we're actually going to supply a little bit of that for our students this year. So that's not a real big issue, but I think it's one of those ones we can kind of play a little bit by ear. I don't know if I answered the question, but so.
And I think teachers will go over that. That's going to be part of their beginning of the class instruction. They'll kind of go through specifics individually. So I think teachers will cover that.
I am morbidly offended by the Christensens because they're eating food and I haven't eaten all day. So thank you for nothing. No, that's cool. That's awesome. All right. What else were there any other questions we need to answer? Because we can take some questions if we want. We have about 10 minutes before we have to shut this down to go to
Right.
CC. So it looks like Joanne has a question. But you have to unmute. Oh, there you go. Now you can ask your question.
Okay, I was just getting ready to ask a question as I noticed on my kid's schedule about the phys ed
Yes.
for 9th grade. So I'm confused about how that's gonna work.
Okay. So the teacher will reach out to the students with some curriculum, but they're gonna do some stuff. Okay. So we saw in the summer school did a PE online course, and it was semi-interesting. So we'll do a lot of that. One of the beautiful things about our teacher, Miss Rowe, is that PE wasn't about learning how to play dodgeball. Okay?
Right.
PE was teaching them some life skills. And so I think she's going to continue with that. And we're pretty excited about it. So there will be some curriculum the students are going to have to learn, along with some opportunities to go out and be healthy and do some stuff maybe out in the front yard or in the garage or something. But I'm not really sure exactly how she's going to run that class. But I know it will be good. And it will correspond with health at the same time. So it should be an interesting time for the kids.
Okay, and then I had another question, and it was about the governor talked about school starting maybe after Labor Day, which is after September. Is that when you're going to have another town hall meeting to address in-person schooling?
So let me go ahead and talk a little bit about that. Right now, we're going to be in school from August 12th until September 4th, virtually. Now, on September 8th, we're going to begin to slowly introduce students back into the classroom, but they're going to start with elementary school. And we're going to see how it goes. And then they're going to go to middle school and they're going to go to high school. So my best guess, and I feel pretty confident in this guess, is it's going to be late September before we actually see students face to face.
Okay.
And even then, that face to face is going to be on an alternate schedule, A to L one week, M to Z the following week.
Right.
Now, it's possible that at that point in October, we may say, dang, learning is going amazing in ECA, and maybe we just keep it going the way it is. Maybe we say, dang, we need to see these kids. I personally want to see bottoms in the seats. I want to see faces.
Right.
But that's not necessarily the answer that's right. So we're going to play by ear and see. But I would count on late September, early October before high schools go to the yellow part, which is a mix of online education and face-to-face education. And I think that you can take that to the bank.
Thank you.
Yes.
There's a lot of questions about registration again. The drive-through registration will be Monday, August 10th and August 11th. We will have a schedule and we will send that out to you. So yes, I imagine we'll do something with Alpha. It'll be in the window of 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We just can't keep up fast enough because it's like we're starting school like we've never done before. So, but yeah, we will be getting that out to you. I know you guys are excited for that.
Okay, and I just saw another question just briefly that I think I want to address right now. And my bad, I actually had it in my notes. So we have had a few students who really were, or parents too, who were uncomfortable with going to a face-to-face even in late September, early October. So the district had developed a plan where, because APS has Academy, they created a K through 8 Academy and then a 9 through 12 Academy. And initially, we were simply going to disenroll any students from ECA or Next Gen or college and career high school or whoever that wanted to do online education. But they gave schools of choice like ECA and those other schools the opportunity to have online education for those kids who were uncomfortable returning. So if you are a student in ECA, you're going to spend the first 2 months virtually. On the day that they allow us to re-enter, or actually before that, we're going to want you to reach out to us and we will send some notification. We're going to want you to reach out to us, and we are going to provide any of those students who do not want to return to a face-to-face for the remainder of the year the opportunity to stay in ECA but do their learning online. Now, everybody has a different reason for doing that. It could be that your student is fine, but that you're taking care of grandma at home, or you have a comorbidity and you don't want to have to worry about it. It doesn't matter the reason. The point is, you will have the opportunity to stay in ECA, not be disenrolled not have to enroll at Academy, not have to worry about any of that. You will stay with our ECA teachers and you will continue that learning. I will tell you right now, though, it is not going to be the same as face-to-face. So you have to be patient with us as we work through that, because essentially we're asking a teacher to do three things. Teach it once we go to yellow, teach their class face-to-face, teach their class asynchronously, and teach students who are not face-to-face asynchronously. So there's a lot of things going on. We're going to do the best we can. And my teachers are so amazing. I know they're going to do great at it. So I'm not worried about it. But I think I answered that question, correct? Cool.
I just wanted to go back to a couple of students' questions. Rhea, you asked, what is that, the first 3 days going to be? We're going to send that schedule out. It'll probably be a rehearsal for those 3 days, okay? And you'll meet with your advisory, okay? So it'll get you acclimated to the schedule. We're going to give you a lot of grace period there.
Yeah, I do want to emphasize, though, to any students that are listening, you better show up to class, okay? Because I have very little tolerance for students that are not going to attend class, and I have options, okay? So please show up to class. You're virtual. You have no excuse. I know you've been sleeping till noon, and now you got to get up at 7:30, but we can live with that, okay? But you've got to show up to class, and I want parents to understand that too. They've got to show up.
Another great question was from Sergio. You were asking about when I was talking about the 12th, the 13th, and 14th, and kind of going through a rehearsal with your classes. Your teachers are going to go over that and what learning platform they're going to use. It's going to be very similar to what you guys are used to, either Canvas or Ingenuity, but they'll talk with you about that, or Google Classroom. So that's what those 3 days are going to be about, okay, is talking with you, getting to know each other and making sure you know where to go.
Right. And you know, some of our teachers might introduce a little bit of curriculum to you in those 3 days. Maybe they say, hey, you know, we put a book in your bag, you know, maybe you want to start reading it. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to allow my teachers to have any assignments or homework the first 3 days. This is about structure and learning the system that we want to utilize and being familiar with it. And then on Tuesday, August 18th, we're going to hit curriculum and we're going to learn. And we are going to introduce new concepts, and we expect students to just hit the road running and really do well.
And that staff directory that Sue Estelle was showing us, that staff directory, students, that's going to have the links to get to the classes. So that's one way. We're going to email you that information, but I know some of you are eager to know how it's all going to work. So I know it's hard to kind of wait, but I really do appreciate your patience, and please know that it's going to be in one location that you guys are going to easily be able to see. So look at your schedules in Student View under class schedule. You will follow that. We'll also have that bell schedule so that you have an idea in your mind. We're going to put agendas in those goodie bags, so be sure to set your alarms and start pulling out those agendas.
We have a question from Patrick Scott.
Yes, what is it?
Patrick?
Yes, sir. Mr. Argoyes,
Hi, Mr. Scott.
How you doing there? All right. How should we handle situations where, you know, you have an unpredicted internet glitch for a day? Or I mean, like I remember in the spring, you know, our internet service was down for like 2 days, and we had to switch providers. It was a nightmare. How do you want your students to let you know? Sorry, that's our beagle. That this is happening, and how do we get excused for those kinds of situations? Not trying to put up excuses, but it does happen.
No, it does happen, and that's a good question. So we might have 5 different answers here with some of us that are in this thing, but basically it's about communication. And one of you know what? The best part of all is that you guys should all have my phone number. You can text me and tell me that, but start with your advisory teacher, if possible. Do the best you can about getting connectivity. if the city does what they said they were going to do in the state, there should be hotspots all over this city. So a student might be able to simply walk out their front door and have a free hotspot somewhere. They set up hotspots all over. So we have been told that by the start of school on August 12th, nobody that lives in this city should not be able to connect to some type of hotspot near their home or right at their home. So hopefully that'll work. But I get that because my internet, I have old school cables running from the telephone pole in the alley, and they go out a lot. And so I get that. So communicate as quickly as possible when you can get back on the internet, or drive your kid over to Starbucks. That's not necessarily an option unless you want Starbucks, but whatever. And then Rebecca or Lynn, do you have anything, or Sue even, do you have any comments on that? Anybody?
I would just say that if it's looking long-term, to please let us know, because the district does have some options that they can offer to help too. So
yeah,
just keep us posted about what's going on. If you start out the year and you're thinking everything is looking great, and then it turns out that the number of students you have in your home and the times of day that they're connecting, that your signal strength just isn't what you think it's going to be, and you need to make a change, let us know. We'll try to work with you and get some other resource available.
Okay.
So just keep us posted.
And I will tell all of you parents that are here that if a teacher gives your student an assignment that's due on Friday and they've had a week to work on it, and on Friday they come to us and say, hey, I don't have any internet connection. Yeah, I don't know that I necessarily want that to be an excuse. Figure out a way to get it to us if that's the case. If you got a week to work on it and you suddenly decide Thursday night to work on it and you can't get on the internet, I'm going to really struggle with that, because we're trying to prepare these kids for college and career. And I don't know very many college instructors that will tolerate that. And I definitely don't know any bosses that would tolerate that. Joanne, you're on mute again.
Okay, I saw a question on there that it says, is there going to be an open house on September 10th for parents to meet the teachers?
Great question. We are trying to plan a virtual open house where teachers can go in and meet staff. And we're looking at some models and we're trying to design our own thing, but we will definitely have some type of open house. And it should be pretty cool, but we're just not sure what it's going to look like right now. And we may not even, I think we actually set that date already, didn't we? Yeah, I think we set that date. We're going to shoot for that date. I think we'll meet our goal and we'll be ready.
Okay, so does that mean that we're going to get emails in reference to that, whether it's going to be in person or virtual?
Yeah. What was the date on that? I thought it was in September.
It says September 10th.
Yeah, and when your student comes for registration, we hope we'll have agendas for them, and inside that agenda will be a calendar. Of course, all that is subject to change based on things that are happening, but of course we'll communicate if we do it virtually, any links that you might have to or need to log into those classes or to meet those teachers. But those dates are set in the calendar, and that will be in the student agendas that they should be getting next week.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, now that you're talking about dates, I know we would get a calendar from the middle school that showed when the kids were having their holidays. How is that going to work for is it going to be the normal school holidays or?
Joanne, you didn't get the memo. We canceled all holidays for the fall.
Oh, I'm happy about that.
They've had a summer of holidays. They have no more holidays.
Mr. Arguelles,
I'm sorry.
We're going to have to shut this down in about a minute and a half, and there's one more question I think you need to answer.
Okay, go ahead.
That's in the survey you asked for student email and phone numbers. Are you going to start communicating with kids through email or text?
Yes, good question. So last year we did a trial run with that and it worked out really well. So we would like to continue it on this year. We're going to probably use a program called Living Tree, and we'll collect student cell phones, parent cell phones, anybody that wants to communicate by text or by email, students especially by email, we're going to have that data and we're going to communicate that way. Text has been a great way for many of us to communicate during this thing. I try to limit how many really bad text messages I send out. So that's where we're going to go. And Miss Estelle, thank you. We do have to get off of this because we have to start our CEC Zoom meeting. If any of you guys really have nothing better to do, especially the Christensons who are eating, so I don't even know what they're making, but it looks really good. I like how the dad's cooking and the mom's washing dishes. That doesn't fly in my house. I have 3 daughters. Okay, Sue, you can click us off.
Okay.
Oh, there's the bell.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
So, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube and it looks like there's a few of you on there, we're going to start. Hopefully that worked out okay for you guys. We're going to start the CEC portion of the meeting now. And hopefully you guys can catch everything that's going on. I do have my cell phone, and I hate to give my cell phone out live, but I don't really care, I guess. It's 505-252-0225. 505-252-0225 if you want to call and ask a question by text message. I'm sorry, not call. Text message me a question. I can try to answer it. Otherwise, we're going to be starting our Zoom meeting here in just a second. And that it looks like the other meeting was pretty full, so this one will get full too. So feel free to join us if you can. But anyway, this is exciting. Yay. All right. So we are a couple of minutes. I think we're right, actually.
We're
right on time.
started.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start this meeting. We just got done with our ECA meeting, kind of covering similar questions and concerns. So it should help us be a little bit more knowledgeable in this meeting. I'm going to start. First off, I want to tell you, this is an interesting time because I did send out an email talking about being the old dog. And I am sitting here at my desk, and I have an iPad and I have a Chromebook, and I'm YouTube live streaming from my Chromebook, and I'm Zoom meeting from my iPad. I have my phone over here where I'm taking questions. I have my laptop on with my screen here with notes to talk about. It's crazy. It is one of the most crazy things ever, and I love it. I love it. So anyway, all right. So we're going to start. We're going to talk a little bit about. Well, first off, I want to thank you guys for coming, and I want to thank you guys for continuing to be patient with us as we work. We'll see you later, Jeff. Bye. As we continue to work through schedules and teachers and craziness, and it's just a unique situation. And our parents have been amazing, and we're very excited. We're so excited to get started. Our teachers are chomping at the bit to get your students in class and teach them some stuff. And so that being said, I want to remind you guys that we're always available for questions and answers. I do have, I think, let me see if I can pull up my thing here. Okay, so there's a few people I want to introduce that are in this conversation right now that I know for sure. Miss Estelle, Sue Estelle is our tech guru. She will mute or unmute you depending on how good you are, and you can ask questions. Eventually, we'll get to some live opportunities to ask questions. And so there's the magic bell. So she'll help you there. I have Miss Florence is in here somewhere, and there she is. I can see her waving. And so Miss Florence is our assistant principal, and she does the bulk of all the hard work. I'm just the beautiful, pretty face, and she's the backbreaker and the beast behind everything that happens. Same thing with Miss Ramsey, who I believe is in here also. And so Miss Ramsey is our counselor, and man, she counsels so many kids. I saw John Glazier, who is one of our teachers, part of our leadership team, and our planetarium director. And I don't know if Miss Lopez is on here. Chanel is our dean of students, and she works with Miss Florence on a lot of stuff. I saw Miss Gordon in here. She's one of our teachers. Boy, this room is full. I don't know who else is in here. I'm excited. So let's get started. All right. Let's start. How about if we start with the bell schedule? Does that work?
Yes, hang on one second.
Wow, second meeting's already full. Miss Ramsey had to go to YouTube. Poor her. That's okay. Watch us on YouTube, guys. You'll be able to enjoy it. I've never done YouTube live streaming, so it's pretty cool to be the first time to do that. Okay, Miss Estelle has put up the CEC schedule for this fall. And when you look at those times, they correspond pretty closely with what we did last year. They also correspond very well with the bulk of the home high school schedules that we've received. Okay, we will not have any CEC classes on Monday. Okay, so Monday might be an opportunity for a student to reach out to one of our teachers for some tutoring or some questions, but there are no actual physical classes with the exception of LPN nursing. And that's a whole nother story that we won't even really talk about right now. CEC will be Tuesday through Friday. And let me delineate the classes. We have a CEC session 1, which is periods 1 and 2 at your student's home high school. And there's a lot of classes that are in that session. That time period is roughly 7:30 to 9:45. And we'll talk about what we expect from teachers and from students in terms of learning. We have session 1C, which used to be Monday and Wednesday and is now Wednesday and Friday. And that's a couple of language classes, vet med, a couple of other classes. And then we have session 2, which meets every day. So they will now meet Tuesday through Friday. And that's periods 6 and 7 at the home high school. So each of your students will have a placeholder that says 6th and 7th CEC period placeholders. And those classes will meet every day, Tuesday through Friday, from 12:30 to 1:50. Kind of. That's a time frame. That's not necessarily the schedule. And then we have session 3, which is sessions that we have after school. It runs from 2:15 to 4. And we have those classes on Tuesday and Thursday and Monday and Wednesday. But now Monday, Wednesday classes will now be Wednesday, Friday. Okay. And then we do have a few classes that are actually Tuesday through Friday, like EMT I think EMT is actually just 2 days. There's a couple classes, not very many. Most classes are Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Friday. And there's a lot of those classes. You can go to our catalog to see them. Your students will know what they're in. Okay, so that's kind of what the schedule looks like. So we might as well talk while we're doing that. We might as well talk a little bit about the type of learning that your students will do. There's two types of learning. Many of us had to Google these things because we didn't know what the heck they were. There's asynchronous learning and there's synchronous learning. Okay, synchronous learning is learning that's going to be online. It's distance learning, but it happens in real time. Okay, so it's going to occur in a specific time frame. So if they were doing synchronous learning in session 1A, it would be 7:30 to 9:45. Okay, and let me see if I can. And so okay, so that is sometimes sit and get a lecture. It could be video conferencing. It could be teleconferencing. It could be live chatting. It could be Socratic seminars in a classroom setting, but it's a specific time. Some of the advantages of this type of learning, and guys, you're going to hear the same spiel from the homeschools because they're all doing the same thing. I'm sorry, Miss Florence, if you're out there, that link is in your email.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I don't know how else to get it to you. So some of the advantages of synchronous learning are classroom engagement. Kids can go, they can see their teacher, they can see their classmates, they get immediate feedback. It's a little bit more active. There's a lot more personal feel to it. The better. It's a lot more dynamic learning. It can sometimes be a really good way of learning. There's a lot more of that face-to-face video conferencing type atmosphere. It's a lot of what we did in the spring. Okay. It allows for a little bit more instructional depth from the teachers. You interact regularly. You have a schedule. You get to see your teacher. You get to see their face. You get to, and that facial piece of it, seeing people's faces, is very important right now. And we'll talk about that a little bit. But there are a couple of disadvantages. One of them is it's a rigid schedule. This is your time. Come then. You don't get to mess around. You got to be here from whatever, 7:30 to 9:30 or whatever the times are. And then it also doesn't account for technical difficulties. You have some connectivity problems. You have some other issues like that. You're going to struggle in a synchronous learning situation because maybe you can't get into that room again, or maybe you lost the internet, or maybe your device, the battery charge went out, whatever. Those are some of the problems. Now, the asynchronous learning can be a cool way of learning, especially if you're very motivated. It happens on your schedule. So if your student says, dang, I really don't want to learn today, so I'm going to go check in and get my assignments, and then I'm going to do them tonight at 5 o'clock when I'm feeling a little bit better. They can do that, okay? But teachers will post a lecture maybe, and they can go watch the lecture, or a teacher will post a video, and maybe they have to watch that video 4 times before they fully understand it. In an asynchronous environment, they can do that. And so that makes it pretty cool. The flexibility is the biggest plus to that, but asynchronous learning works best with students that are motivated to learn. And CEC and ECA teachers are going to do a combination of asynchronous and synchronous learning. So are all of the teachers at the home high school. They're going to be working to provide some face-to-face, and then also provide some learning opportunities. And then when we do transition to yellow, which is where we will have face-to-face half the time, online learning the other half, asynchronous learning, to be an asynchronous learner is going to be advantageous for all of our students. It allows for students to pace themselves, to work at their leisure, and to work at their own pace. So if they have a lesson that is posted and it might take one student an hour, but it takes them 3, or the other way around. They work at their own pace and they can get it done faster or whatever. You get to shape your learning experience based on your needs. And so that's pretty cool. So one of the biggest disadvantages or a couple of the disadvantages to asynchronous learning is isolation. You don't get to log into Google Meet and see all your friends or see your teacher. You are going to their website and you're clicking on a link and you're pulling up a video, or you're pulling up a TED Talk, or you're pulling up a lesson plan. And so there is no interaction. And that isolation is important, especially given that so many of our students have not really seen very many people since March 10th. So we need to, and there's also a little bit of a when you're working in a self-guided environment, there are some opportunities to have for apathy to develop. Like, oh man, I really don't feel like doing this. Maybe I'll get to it tomorrow, and then tomorrow becomes 2 days later, and then all of a sudden you just forget to do the assignment. And so not having that interaction just really creates problems. And that's why we want to work on a combination of both. Okay. I do want to tell you that we're pushing for our students to teach both ways, synchronously and asynchronously, but we really do want your students to check in every class period, at least to check in and get assignments or to see what they need to do, and then move to the asynchronous part if that's what the teacher is doing. That's going to be up to each teacher. One of the beautiful things for us here at CEC is our teachers are pretty amazing, and they are going to do everything they can to provide an amazing education to your students, and we're excited about it. I do want to tell you, for those of you, because there's a lot of you on YouTube right now, sorry that we can't. We're going to get better at this, and we'll get that schedule out to all parents. I'll send it as soon as I can. I just can't send it right now, so I apologize for that. So we're kind of moving. Yes.
We can put the schedule. We'll put the schedule up on the website as well. So.
Okay, perfect. We'll put the schedule on the website. Miss Estelle will have a great place for it, and you'll be able to find it right away. And that way you can see what we're doing.
Look for the remote learning badge on the website.
Yes.
There is a badge called remote learning. APS has put it on every school's website. And that's going to be the starting point for finding out information about remote learning.
And so for those of you on YouTube, our website is cec.aps.edu. And we're making improvements on it. We're kind of rebuilding because there was it's an interesting story, but I don't want to get into, but we're putting together quite a wonderful website right now with all of the information we need for all of this remote learning. And in fact, I'm going to just segue that right now, Ms. Estelle, into the staff directory. That makes sense. So we might as well talk about that. So do you want to pull up the website like you did with ECA? Was perfect. So if you want to repeat that, that's awesome.
Okay, so here's our website. And
cec.aps.edu. Sorry.
Right. And there are a couple places that you can go to look for information. As I mentioned, every school now has this remote learning badge. You can see where my cursor is circling. If you click there, it's going to take you to a landing page where there's going to be all kinds of information. This will be much more fully populated in just a day or two, with the schedule, with other pieces of information. One of the main links here is to the teacher page, which also can be reached under the Contact Us tab at the very top of the website. There's also the teacher page. Right now, this is the straight out of the box template that the School Loop hosting software provides to us. And you may all be familiar with the little blue envelope that gives you the opportunity to email teachers. We're going to be replacing this with a directory page that will have much more information and links to teachers' websites, where those teachers will have much more information about their classes, their contact information, their schedule, their links to their Zoom or Google Meet or whatever platform they're using, materials that they may wish to distribute in advance or concurrently with the class, like summaries or book lists or supply lists or whatever. So when you come to the website again and you go to Contact Us and Teachers, you'll see the new directory page. When you go to remote learning, you'll see the latest information that we have on what's happening with our remote learning. And you also have a link to the teachers there. And this is me. I'm Sue Estelle. This is my email address. I will also post my number there. One of I do not mind being contacted by students or parents. I just ask you if you want to call me, to text me first and identify yourself so that I know who's calling me. I tend to not answer calls from unidentified numbers, particularly if it's not during the school day. So if you text me first and let me know who you are, then I can make sure to respond to your call. So so this is the website, and as Mr. Arguelles said, it's kind of under construction. We just had it rebuilt to include these new badges, and so we're trying to fill in the gaps. Anything else, Mr. A?
No, that was pretty good. Thank you. Hey, Miss Florence, do you mind taking over and talking about something for a second? I'm going to send an email out to some of the parents on the YouTube that are asking for the schedule, so they can at least see that. So if you could do that, I would really appreciate it.
Which item? How did you stop at?
We just so we're right at the staff roster. So whatever's after that.
Perfect. Then it looks like it's a parent view and student view. If you want to see your students' schedule, I believe you can view them now. If you go to the tab on the left that says class schedule. So if there's anything on there that doesn't look correct or needs to get added, for sure you could send an email to either myself or Miss Ramsey. Miss Ramsey, I'm not sure if you already put your email in there. But yes, that's going to be a good one-stop shop to see your email, to see your schedule, and to email your teachers and receive them as well. Some other questions. Know that they're going to have advisory at your home schools. If your student is needing any support with social emotional, their home school should have a good system in place, but if there's anything they need or if they're having any troubles here at CEC or with those classes, Ms. Ramsey or myself are here to assist.
A lot of people are asking or mentioning that they cannot see their CEC classes on their schedule. And up until yesterday, a lot of teachers weren't seeing their schedules in Synergy. So it's very possible that that may change even in the next 24 hours as the folks at Synergy get information loaded. But if you're having problems still seeing schedules tomorrow, Friday, please contact Ms. Florence or Ms. Ramsey.
Yeah, I did just see that. Yeah, some high schools have not released schedules yet. Their scheduling is always a nightmare, period. So in this time right now, we're registrars and counselors and curriculum assistants and people are working from home. It's even more difficult. You can imagine not having a face-to-face interaction with a person means that you have to wait for a phone call or wait for an email to be answered, or there might be confusion about your question. It's really tough. So we're working on that. But I will tell you, we have 1,435 students enrolled in 1,636 seats or something like that in CC. We have a lot of students. 35. Wow, that was a nice echo. a lot of students in CEC right now. So we're hoping that we can keep as many of them as possible in their CEC classes because we're excited about the learning we did last year in the spring, despite the fact that most of our students didn't even have to come to class and they would have got a pass. I think they wanted to learn and they came and they learned and they did some pretty cool stuff. I loved how creative our teachers were, and we're expecting the same from them. Okay, it was pretty cool. So Miss Florence, I now, because I sent that email, have lost your email, which really stinks. And so now I can't seem to find where you had questions. So can you tell me what's next on your list?
I think we're done with that. I think there's more questions on the chat.
Okay.
And some of the CEC, if you can't see your CEC class on your student's schedule, send an email to Miss Ramsey or myself. Or do you prefer to be you, Miss Ramsey?
Yeah, if that's okay, I think just having one stop or shop would be easier for us to kind of figure out. It's super important that the schedules are reflecting the CEC class, because that is then in turn how the teachers are going to be reaching out to the students through Student View. So if they're not enrolled, they're not going to get that contact to initiate starting the class. So just email me and I can look it up, and you might not be able to see it for a few days, but I can at least check that it's there. And I'll put my email in the chat again.
And Lynn, I just put your email in the YouTube chat. So so those people, if any of you guys on YouTube, you can go ask Miss Ramsey all the questions you want and she'll answer every one of them. Maybe.
So there was some questions about registration. Everything's an online registration. It's going to be all online. We are having ECA come to pick up textbooks. We're not yet there for CEC, but we'll send that out when that time comes. Okay, so there shouldn't be any, you can call or email us to make sure your schedule looks right. And that's all that needs to be done for CEC at this time.
Okay, yeah. And so in the YouTube chat, I did just see a question about connectivity, and we talk a lot about the internet and connecting to the internet and all the problems that we have and the support that we can give you. I do want to tell you that the district is really wanting every high school student to have their own device, and they're willing to check out a Chromebook to every student. And let me tell you, the nice thing about this is Chromebooks are way better for your kids than using their phones. Okay. And there are a lot of opportunities around the city to get connected to hotspots. The Comcast, CenturyLink, Spectrum, the city of Albuquerque with their buses, because I didn't know this, but buses have the internet, and so they're planting buses around the city. CenturyLink and Comcast have set up hotspots, and we have been told that by the time school starts, there should be no place in the city of Albuquerque where you can't go to get a free hotspot. So if you have 4 kids at home and yourself, and you're trying to connect to your internet wirelessly and you're struggling, I don't know, send your high school kid out in the front yard and see if they can connect to a hotspot, or send them to the Starbucks, or send them to a bus stop. Every comprehensive high school also will have hotspots available for students so they could actually drive to the parking lot. Not ideal, guys, and it's not anything we want. We'd love to see them sitting at home on a desk, with their computer working, but sometimes we have to improvise. Just some of the ways they can improvise. Also, Comcast has reached out and is more than willing to work with students maybe that are free and reduced lunch or that are having some financial struggles, like many of us, and they'll figure out a way to try to help with connectivity by providing internet access. We're going to do everything we can to make it happen. I don't know. What other questions are there, Rebecca? I can't see the chat, by the way, so that's my bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a couple of people who've asked about when they need to begin attending CEC classes.
Excellent. So,
do you need the schedule back up?
No, that's okay. I don't need that. So our CEC teachers are going to reach out to the emails that we've been provided for the students. Okay. and we're also going to send emails to the parents saying, hey, CEC classes are on. But just so you know, we plan on starting August 18th with classes, and we also plan on reaching out to students the 12th, 13th, 14th, and 17th to get them to know what the teacher's schedule is and have that type of interaction. So on the 18th, we're going to demand attendance in our CEC classes. 12th, 13th, 14th, and 17th, we're going to be working with families to make sure they have connectivity, that they have what they need, that they have if there's a textbook involved, or if there's a Google Meet room that they need to go to, they're going to know about it. And we're going to work on that. We're not going to slam kids with a bunch of curriculum the first August 12th, 13th, and 14th. We're going to work on connecting with them, finding out their needs, talking about what's going on, give them an overlay of the class, maybe share a syllabus or a program overview, talk about what they're going to learn, and talk about how they're going to learn. And then just know that on Tuesday, August 18th, if that's when their class meets on that Tuesday or Wednesday, that they are going to be expected to be there at least to see what they need to do and what their learning is going to be. And was there any other questions along those lines?
A couple of people asked questions about not having the appropriate software that's required for classes such as animation.
Okay.
And Lynn answered that teachers will improvise with alternates until we can get you access to the next necessary software. And I know for a fact, like for instance, for the digital film class, we just purchased the Adobe Creative Cloud software for all the students in Mr. Ross Nord's class. And he'll be giving you the information on how to access that so that you can do it from anywhere. So those are all issues that we're working out, but you'll need to be in contact with your teachers. So I keep seeing the same questions being asked over and over about CEC students not needing to attend on the 11th, 12th. Yes, you need to attend. You need to come. You need to check in so that you can find out what's going to be happening in your class, so that when your first day of actual curriculum being headed your way, you are prepared. You know how you're going to be dealing with it. Please don't zone out until the 18th because it's not real school, because you will not be prepared.
I agree. Yeah, we really do expect it. So I think it's important that parents and students know to go to our website to chase down their teacher if they need to, or send them an email. Teachers are going to be reaching out to students, and we're going to have a little bit of time, an opportunity to communicate virtually and meet our students, but we're not. This is not going to be one of those things where, September 1st somebody's going to say, oh well, I was signed up for this class, and by then it's too late. Okay, we're taking attendance, we're giving grades, and we're going to expect students to get ready. We're preparing kids for college and career. I felt we did a fantastic job in the spring, and I know we're going to do a better job now. There is a question. No, and so I did see something about in-person attendance. So there will be no in-person attendance for right now in our classes. It'll all be virtual. And so the teachers will reach out to their students to make that happen.
Except for nursing.
Nursing is an exception, but if your student's not in nursing, there's no use in talking about it. We've already worked it out with the nursing students. There are classes on our campus that are for certification, for accreditation or certification, and that they're a little bit of a different animal, and the PED is treating them a little bit differently. But we will talk separately with those classes, and we've worked around some of them. Okay, I do want to mention, in case any of you are EMT parents or students, okay, we did make a little bit of a change to the EMT class. It's not going to start as a UNM class in the fall. We're going to start, because of the lab portion of it, we're going to start it as a CEC elective credit like we've done in the past, and they will meet when their teacher tells them to meet, and they will learn everything that they were going to learn anyway, and that's basically units 1 through 4. But then we will enroll them in UNM in the spring. Okay, and we think that will be advantageous for any students that might struggle with the virtual learning or have some issues. They won't get crushed by a C or a D in 10 UNM credits. And so there will be an explanation of that going out soon to them. I did see something about platforms. Each teacher will talk with their class about the platforms they're using. Some C&M teachers are using Blackboard. I know some are using Canvas. There are multiple learning. They're called LMSs, so you might as well hear that acronym now. LMS, Learning Management System. It could be Khan Academy. It could be a Google Class. It could be Canvas. It could be Blackboard. There's multiple ones. I saw another one earlier that someone's using. There's a lot of them out there. And so each teacher will clarify with their students that question or that platform.
Mr. Arguelles?
Yes.
I just want to add that several of our classes, auto mechanics, Spanish, French, nursing assistant, they also require enrollment at C&M.
Yes.
Links were sent to parents and students last week. There has been a lot of confusion. C&M changed their platform. So if you're struggling getting enrolled at C&M, because you're in autos or financial lit or Spanish or French, email me so I can help navigate that. We do have to have those students enrolled by the end of the month. They don't have to enroll in C&M, but if they want the college credit, they certainly do. So I know it's been kind of a mess and I apologize for that, but we are working through those kinks. And if you're struggling or your student is struggling, just to reach out to me because it's changed a bit, and I know some people were having a hard time getting enrolled. So there's a step-by-step process. It's not intuitive, but it is kind of laid out there. I can share that with you, and then if you get hung up or need help, we can work through that together. So again, just email me if you're having a hard time getting enrolled at C&M, and then the UNM classes, the EMT, the Chinese, computer science, we'll do all those in the spring. So we don't need
Thanks, Mr. Ramsey. That was a great explanation. I do want to say thank you. So I have Mr. Bland. He's in this chat also. Mr. Bland is our UNM EMSA Academy teacher. And so if anybody wants to ask him a question in chat or ask a question out loud, he can go ahead and chime in and answer any EMS questions that somebody might have if they need one.
So boss, I would definitely want Nathaniel to speak, but can you, because in the chat box now, there's some confusion about nursing, EMT, and then everything else. And when we're saying attend, when we mean virtually attend, versus there's only a few programs that are meeting beforehand. So if you could just clearly say that the start dates and the ones that are virtual attendance. Can you clarify those dates?
Well, yeah. So let's make this pretty simple. Every class, with the exception of the LPN nursing program, will begin virtually on August 12th or 13th. They'll receive information from their teachers, and they will be expected to begin introducing curriculum to students with assignments and things like that on Tuesday, August 18th. So at that point, that's when the grading starts and the attendance really gets hammered home. So everything's virtual except LPN for right now. So if you're not in LPN, the LPN nursing program, then everything that you do in all of August will be virtual at CEC. After that, it's going to change a little bit for some of our classes that require certification, and the teachers will discuss that with the students as quickly as possible. So please don't think that there's any face-to-face learning going on right now, with the exception of the LPN nursing program, which we have already received approval from many, many people, the Board of Nursing, the Department of Health, the PED, the governor, the president, everybody, they've all signed off. So we're good there. Those things have already been taken care of in discussions with LPN program, with parents, so we don't have to worry about it here. I hope I answered that question. All learning all learning is going to be virtual at least through August. Okay? And we want your students to be very cognizant of who their teachers are and where they can get that information. Hence the staff directory that Ms. Estelle showed you. Rebecca, did I answer the question?
I believe so. I hope so. I don't see anything in the chat.
Okay, cool. All right, good. Those are hard questions because it's one of those things we're really unclear. But just know that our teachers are going to reach out and the instruction is going to be good and amazing.
And maybe now's a good time to bring Nathaniel Bland about any EMT questions, if he's around.
I'm here.
Excellent. Introduce yourself, sir.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nathaniel Bland. I'm one of the faculty lecturers over at the University of New Mexico, over at the EMS Academy. I know there's been a bunch of questions so far that a lot of folks have directed over to CEC about our EMT class. We're super excited. We are having it. Nothing really is going to be different in the outcome of that class, though obviously we have to make some adjustments for everything that's going on. So much like Mr. Willis has been saying, our entire first month is just going to be completely online. Now, due to the nature of EMT certification, we will eventually have to bring in our in-person stuff. But when we do that, it's being done in accordance with all of our health mandates, and again, will not be in person at all through at least the month of August. But that program, my EMT class, is starting next week. We're going to be beginning with getting everybody set up. There's not going to be any didactic or classroom material that first week. Getting everybody set up into our learning management system on the UNM side, making sure that everybody's registered and set up in there, has their books and so on. So I am happy to answer any particular questions that you guys may have for that. We are going to be using a combination of both synchronous and asynchronous learning, meaning that all of my lectures are going to be recorded and they're already in our Moodle classes waiting for folks to join up. But I will also be having synchronous lecture sessions that I do expect students to attend on that, simply because it's a very fast-paced class, and the best information is done in a way that students can ask me questions and answer back, especially with things as complex as the EMT part. But knowing that there's always technical issues, that internet access is a concern for folks, all of that material is provided in an asynchronous manner on our platform as well. So I really don't want anybody to be freaking out or worrying about what will happen if I can't get into a meeting on a certain day or something like that. Definitely going to be working with all of the students for that. So what questions, if any, do you guys have?
Mr. Bland?
Yes.
I did put in the chat that you and I are going to be working together to send a letter out to students with logistics and specifics with all that as well. So things that they might not know to ask will probably be in that letter as well. So we'll get that out tomorrow. And so if that comes up, just be looking for that if you're an EMT kiddo or parent.
Okay, cool. And somebody's got to have a question for Mr. Bland. He's so excited to answer it.
I am going to put.
Oh, sorry.
Because I am not an APS employee and do not have stuff in most of the staff directories, I am putting my email here into the chat in case anybody, if you're a EMT student or parent and need to get in direct contact with us, if you think of something in the middle of the night, I'm happy to address that as soon as I get up the next morning if it's in the middle of the night. But you guys can always contact me directly. Yes, I see somebody in the YouTube stream that had a question. Yes, we're not exactly sure how we're going to manage the textbook pickup for the EMT, but we will be figuring that out here in the next day or so. It was my understanding for that. But yes, the students will need a book for that class.
And so, Mr. Bland, I want to let you know that we are prepared to help you with that distribution. And so I might as well take a moment to talk about that. So for any of you parents concerned about textbooks or books, I saw some stuff in the YouTube channel. We will be providing textbooks for the classes that need them, or we will, in some of our world languages, they use readers and other smaller novels and books like that. We'll provide those also, and then we will check them back in. They go out clean, they'll come back in, and we'll clean them and get them ready for the next person. So we're really good about that. We do have textbooks for EMT, but I'm not really sure if that's the ones that you're using. So we'll work that out with Mr. Bland, and we will have all of those available. Same thing with our certified nursing assistants and LPNs. They've been picking up books, and we're ready to go for them. And I don't know how many other CEC classes have books. I think anatomy and physiology does. So there's a few that do. A&P Physics, I believe, has a textbook. We'll make sure that we figure out a way for students to pick them up.
We did have a question, not for Mr. Bland, for you, about whether students would be allowed to take any CEC classes 100% online. And I'm assuming past the date when normally they'd be going to hybrid.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now as it stands, we have been, initially we were told that students that wanted to be 100% virtual would have to take those would have to be dropped from, actually we were told that they wouldn't be able to finish CEC classes. Now it appears that they may be able to. However, that does not apply to dual credit CEC classes unless the teacher has approved that. So I don't want any classes that are for dual credit. We must make an assumption that at some point they may be virtual. I mean, they may be face-to-face. I think about Mr. Bland and EMT. They've got hours of lab and clinical time that they need. Certified nursing assistants need 90 hours of lab and 45 hours of clinical. LPN, same thing. But as an example, automotive needs face-to-face time if they want to be if they want to receive dual credit. But if they don't want to receive dual credit and they just want to take an automotive class, they can take it for the entire year virtually. Okay, they just won't get dual credit for it. Spanish, I believe some of our languages will be totally virtual if necessary. I know that Navajo is 100% virtual this year, and that's for dual credit. And Zuni is 100% virtual for dual credit. So the reality is you have to be very specific about the class, and then we can let you know. And I am always available for that question, and I will get you an answer. You can email it to me or call me on my cell phone or text me, and I will find out for you. Okay, good question about Chinese and will there be a textbook? I wish I could answer that question. I'm not even sure. We were in discussion with Ms. Xu about that. She's trying to do a virtual portion now, but eventually there may be a textbook required for that class. We're not one of
Mr. Boyce, I think she has a workbook. I know she's working on moving that to online, but there is a workbook.
Okay.
But all of our teachers will be communicating if there's materials your student needs, and we will be making arrangements for you guys to get that. So don't add that to your stress. We'll make sure we're communicating that with you through your teachers and making arrangements for that to happen. So we're, not trying to keep anybody in the dark. Some of that stuff we're still trying to work out ourselves.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing. I will tell you that a few of our classes that are UNM classes in the engineering and the electrical and computer engineering department, those classes will not be dual credit until the spring semester, because they do require a little bit of a different technology than what we're capable of doing with Chromebooks. And so we're working on that. But so Dr. Wolverton, it will be teaching that class as a CEC elective class in the fall. And then in the spring, we'll enroll them in UNM, kind of similar to what we're doing with EMT, I believe. And so that should work out. However, some of each class is a little bit different. And guys, it's really hard it's hard because Spanish 1 is taught in the fall, and that's a CNM class, and they have to be registered for CNM in order to get the credit. And so we're going to work through that. A lot of our ethnic studies and curanderismo and Chicano studies, those are UNM classes. They need to be registered for UNM for those classes. The teacher will communicate with you that information as quickly as possible. I believe that they've already been. I believe that our dual credit teachers have already reached out to most of their dual credit students. We've had this list for a couple of months now. So if you have a kid taking a dual credit class and you haven't heard from a teacher, please reach out to Miss Ramsey or me or Miss Florience. Boy, Mr. Bland is a fast typer.
Mr. Arguez, did you answer the question about a bus schedule? I stepped away for a second.
Oh, okay. No. So, all right. So, so every year CEC provides buses from the home high school to CEC and back. And when we go face to face, we will provide buses. Okay. So last year we had over 85 buses a day come through our school. A lot of buses. But if you can believe this, of those 85 buses, only one bus was filled to the point where we would have to worry about social distancing on that bus. All the rest of the buses would not have required social distancing. Students could have their own row. I think that the bus company has said that there can be 2 to a row now, but we did not have this problem. And so we'll check, and we'll check every bus that comes in, but we will be providing transportation from the home school to CEC and back to the home school when we go to the yellow and we have face-to-face learning, week 1 A to L, week 2 M to Z. And we anticipate that there will be clean and socially distanced for all of those students. I saw a question about classes, but I couldn't read the whole question.
I think what somebody's asking is, are we going to do the classes every other week? And I think the answer to that is we're going to model what all the schools are doing. Once we go face-to-face hybrid after the 8th of September.
October, but go ahead.
We'll do the same schedule. So if you're an 8 kid, you might come one week, and you're a B hybrid group, you'll come the following week. And then teachers will supplement in between the times you're on campus with that asynchronous learning. So we're just going to model whatever APS is doing in terms of when kids are on campus and when they're doing virtual only. And that could change, but we'll still be doing whatever it is that APS does.
Thanks. Well, that was a great explanation. I don't anticipate us that changing very much. I do want to remind every parent and every student, just because they're not face-to-face doesn't mean that they're not going to have requirements and assignments. That's the asynchronous part of the learning for the most part. If they attended school week 1 on Tuesday and Thursday, on week 2, when their other half of their class is attending face-to-face class, they will be expected to check in. There is attendance required for our CEC classes. Dual credit's a little bit different. They will be required to check in and pick up their asynchronous assignment. They can do it whenever they want, but they got to get it. And then they can take some time to ask questions, visit the teacher during office hours, whatever. But one way or the other, they're going to be learning every single week in CEC, whether it's face-to-face or virtual.
So I think we still have some people who are confused about when school starts and what exactly is happening each day from the 12th on.
So, I unfortunately cannot share anything with you because I don't have the schedule, but let me just tell you that, I'm going to tell you right now. No, it's on my thing.
Okay.
Okay. Class starts Wednesday,
The 12th.
August 12th. And students will have an opportunity to go to a teacher's Google Meet room or Zoom. I think we've asked teachers to use Google Meet with classes. They'll be able to go to that meeting space, meet their teacher, and have some interaction on day one. Okay, we're not going to be asking teachers to assign homework. In fact, we don't want them to, but we do want them to talk about the syllabus and what's the expectation for the class and how are we going to meet and how will we know what's asynchronous and what's synchronous and what does that even mean? And they're going to have some conversations with their students. So I will be sending out that schedule. I'm kind of looking at a tentative one right now. It's not going to be so for the first 3 days, we have 7:30 to 9:45 set aside for session 1 classes. But for the first 3 days, that period of time will be considerably less, but we will expect students to go to those rooms to meet their instructors. Okay? All of that information will be available. We will send that out to parents. We will post it on the website. We will make it available to students as best we can. But ultimately, students can come to our website and click on their teacher and go to their webpage or go to that site and see what they have to do. Some of this is going to be students having to do a little bit of the work, but we're going to make it out there and available. Okay? I think we're just going to have to press through and do the best we can, but I do want you to know, and I'm sorry if I confused people, school starts on August 12th for CEC as well as ECA as well as your home high school. Will you have to worry about doing an elaborate assignment on day one? No. But you will be expected to show up and communicate with your teacher. Virtually. Yeah, I'm sorry. Show up virtually and communicate with your teacher. Anything else, guys?
There have been a couple of questions of people asking if there are textbooks. Staff returned yesterday. So you may not yet have heard from your teachers, but you should be hearing from them in the next few days. You obviously will not need a textbook on the 12th, since as Mr. Arguelles said, there's not going to be handing out assignments for grades on the 12th, but you should be hearing within the next week about what materials will be needed, either an email or student view message from your teacher or at the first virtual meeting with your teacher. Yes?
Yes. Yes, we will. We're going to do our very best to make sure that every student is communicated with. And you know, if students that are out there listening or parents, if there's any confusion at all, you know, they can call me or they can reach out to me and we'll go from there. We'll make it happen. So I did see I'm going to tell you, if you have any questions about the CNA, the Certified Nursing Assistant Program, please feel free to call me directly and I'll answer those. I can put you in touch with Miss Whitney, the director, and she can explain how that works. But those are some tough questions to answer for a whole huge group of people. But we'll get there. And then Sue, Lynn, Rebecca, if you guys can continue to help me with questions that are coming up because I don't see them.
I think you've been.
I saw somebody said something about calling and getting hung up on. Sorry, call my cell phone. I promise I won't hang up on you.
I think that was for C&M, Pat. So what I'm telling folks is that C&M has a helpline. It's 247-3658. They're super helpful. They're probably slammed and busy. So Grace, if you got hung up, try them again. But they can give you a lot of that information over the phone. But I do know it's taken 3 or 4 days for them to process applications.
What is that number again?
247-3658. They'll
Yeah,
ask some identifying information, but they can do that over the phone if you
Okay.
haven't gotten the email.
I put that on
They're-
I put that on the YouTube helpline. And guys, for those of you guys that are on the YouTube piece, please thank you for your patience. We will get better at this. It's been an interesting process.
Mr. Arguelles?
Yes.
I have a question. Maybe you can answer it for me. The EMT, I know that there's fees for that. Will those not be due until like January if they're going to take it as a dual credit?
You know what? I'm going to kind of refer that one back to Mr. Bland. I would assume that, as in the past, parents can start making payments on the fees. But Mr. Bland, can you answer that?
So as far as us at the EMS Academy, we do not charge anything for this class. The UNM fees that are associated with it are indeed for the dual credit. And as Mr. Arguelles talked about at the beginning, we will not be having students register for that dual credit until the springtime, just to allow for things to happen. So the direct answer to your question is yes. Those fees will not be a concern until the spring comes around. We start registering those students for dual credit.
Thank you.
I will tell you though, just for what it's worth, from the experience that we've had the last few years, those fees are due when they're due, and they're a UNM fee. So there is no, we will help you now through the fall. If you want to make payments and set it up, we can put it in school. That check comes from me anyway. Those fees are paid to us, and then we pay them to UNM. I will help you if you want to set up a payment plan, and we put it into school pay. But when in the spring, when we say your fee is due, it's not our fee, it's not APS's fee or CEC's, it's UNM's. So when they say that fee is due, if it's not paid, that student is dropped. Okay? So please understand that. That's why we try to help parents as early as possible. Because I got to tell you, spending $30 every couple of weeks or every month, $40, whatever it is, over the course of 4 or 5 months, sure beats the heck out of having to fork out, I don't know, what, $184? Is that what it is, Mr. Bland? I don't remember. I'm sorry.
I don't remember their dual credit stuff off the top of my head.
I think it's $184. So however you want. 184. $184. So however you want, we'll work with you to set that up and get it paid for right away if you want. And the other thing cool is, let's say you pay it and then your student decides not to take the UNM piece, you'll be refunded that amount.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have had several questions about specialized software needed for classes. And I know that, I think Lynn had answered earlier that the teachers are going to be working on alternate means of dealing with that need until such time as we can figure out how to get a laptop that has that program installed or whatever. But that particular question needs to be addressed by your teacher. So if you have those kinds of questions, please wait and ask your teacher those questions. And then somebody also said here that they know everybody has lots of questions about individual classes, but are there any other general pieces of information that everyone needs to know for the start of school before we get off onto tangents? Have we missed anything?
I just want to say that I think the bottom line is, if you are needing to enroll in CNM, reach out to me if you're having problems. And then I think Mr. Arguelles is right that teachers will be emailing students within the next week, inviting them and telling them how to engage and start the class. So if it's not on their schedule, to let us know so we can make sure that it is there so they get that communication.
Right. So thank you, Lynn. So today was the first day back for teachers everywhere in Albuquerque. Okay. So many of our teachers weren't even able to access their class lists today, and we're working on that with the APS district. Okay, so we're still trying to sort through who's on our list, how do we communicate with them, but essentially, if you're here, there's a good chance that you've been communicated with by me because your kid is enrolled in a CEC class. That's a plus. Now, is it the right class? Maybe not. We're going to work on all of that. But if you have any questions, just reach out to us. But the teachers are going to reach out to you. And if you have a kid in a class and it is Monday and on the 10th and your student still has not heard from your teacher, please reach out to me, Miss Ramsey, Miss Floriance, and we will find out what's going on. I don't want a kid to come to me on August 24th and say, dang, I was enrolled for this class, but nobody's reached out to me. That's not how it works. You got to reach out to us right away. So please, if your kid has not been communicated with by Monday, please let us know and we'll take care of that. We'll make sure it happens. Okay? There are always glitches, and with this virtual situation right now, we anticipate more, but we want to take care of the students. And if you took the time to be here, that's a good sign for us.
Somebody asked, I know teachers will be emailing the kids. Will they copy the parents so that we know what will be expected?
Probably not. Unless the teacher is using School Messenger, and then that's going directly to the parent. Typically, you're only going to hear from me and I try to communicate as often as possible. You'll hear from me. You're more than welcome to open up a line of communication with the teacher, but I do want you guys to understand that our job at CEC is to prepare students for college and career. And we try to teach them the soft skills they're going to need to get a job or to go to college. And we try to teach them the skills they will need to communicate with professors on their own. So even though we might have a 15 or a 16-year-old kid taking a UNM or a CNM class, we are trying to teach them the skill set they need to be able to communicate with that teacher, because technically that teacher does not have to allow you to communicate, does not have to communicate with you anything about their student, because they're college students. Even though they're in high school, they're still college students. And I know Mr. Blank could do a much better job of explaining that, but I just want you guys to understand, any privilege that we get in communication once school starts in dual credit classes is a plus. Okay, as far as CEC elective classes, parents can reach out to the teachers anytime they want. I know that's a rough explanation, but it's the truth. We want to get your kids ready to be on their own, and we do a pretty good job of it.
All right, we're 6 minutes past our scheduled end time. I don't see any other unique questions.
Real quick question. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is Keelan's dad, Anthony. So for the first day of school, it sounds like it's a week from today, and how kids will, so to speak, go to school is that they will receive before that day an email from their teacher that'll instruct them how to connect virtually. Is that basically it?
That's pretty close. Yeah, it might look a little bit different from class to class, but for the most part, that's the way it is. And I think that we're getting better at the opportunity for students and teachers and parents to get into some of these meeting rooms. So we're hoping that a teacher will have a document set up either on our website or on their own web page that they can reach through the staff directory. And so a kid taking pre-med on Tuesdays or how about vet med on Wednesday can go into that teacher's class, click on that link, and instantly be connected to their Google Meet room. That would be ideal, and that's what we're shooting for. If it's a Zoom room, I think I saw, or whatever platform they're using. Mr. Bland, what does that look like for EMT? What would a student do to connect to your class?
So I've actually been putting my touches on the letter to send out at the moment. What's going to happen is you guys are going to get an email from the folks at CEC, because I do not, and this kind of speaks to what Mr. Gray said, I actually don't have direct contact info for all of the students that are in there. So that goes out through CEC, and it has the link to the registration for our learning management system, and it also has our my Zoom meeting information in there. And so on the first day of class, on the 12th, all students will need to do will be to join that Zoom meeting, hopefully having registered with Moodle ahead of time, but if not, we'll get it done that day, and we will start getting everybody set up, and that entire first 3 days will be dedicated to making sure that everybody's registered, and everybody has the stuff that they need to begin the class the next week.
Beautiful. And so you heard a new word in there. UNM EMSA uses Moodle. And so the kids will get used to that, and it's a great platform. They're going to be fine. We have a variety of those platforms, and they'll be different for some of the classes, just like they will be at their home high schools. The cool part is that maneuvering through this stuff just makes them better prepared for life. I know many of you in your work situations have probably had Zoom meetings, go by I don't know, I think I've seen 6 different meetings that I've gone to, so there's a variety of them, so they're just getting used to that atmosphere. What else is there? Anything else before we shut? It really is late, and I know some of us are dying to go home. Me especially. I've been here since 5, so I'm ready. What else?
Some of us are home.
Some of you are at home. I'm not. I'm at school. So, okay. Well, in that case, then, if you have any questions, please reach out to me by email or by cell phone, text, or call. I've already received a ton of phone calls that I'll be returning tonight. We are so excited, so very excited to have your students in CEC. I can't even begin to tell you how much anticipation our teachers have to get at it and teach your kids something. So it's pretty cool. So we look forward to it. All right. Anyway, I thank you guys for being here. Thank you. Now, as I scroll through, I see new people that I would have introduced earlier. Margaret Hendricks. Anyway, thanks, guys. I am saying goodbye. Oh, did I hear a question?
Thanks, Pat. Have a good night.
Thank you. You're very welcome. I love some of your avatars, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
We'll see you later. Thank you.
So Pat, did you get all the questions that were on the YouTube answered?
I don't know. Sometimes they went so fast. It was really hard to say, but I feel like I got most of them answered. I did send out some emails. I'm looking on a Chromebook, so my screen is very small. And with my vision, you know how bad that is. It was really bad. So I tried to do the best I could.
Thank you, Nathaniel, for being here. That helps.
Absolutely.
Of course,
Mr. Bland, thank you.
And Lynn, you guys will have my thing tomorrow to send out to everybody. And,
I just want to make sure you get something out to kids.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if parents are emailing you directly or students are emailing you guys directly, please send them my way, and happy to make that happen. I'm actually gonna.
The Northern Lights behind you.
Yeah, I've kind of grown attached to that one since March. So it's kind of my constant companion. Occasionally, my dog pokes her head in here, but
noticed that earlier.
She wants dinner is what's going on. But actually, we're actually having a little bit of a co-instructor for me this at the beginning of the semester, because my daughter is due on the 14th. So
Congratulations.
So I'm gonna have to have a chat with her when she gets here to be like, you came at a really inconvenient week for that to happen.
Her wedding anniversary is the 14th.
Oh my goodness, that's
I've worked
awesome.
for APS for 22 years. We have not been able to celebrate our anniversary with anything exciting, like going out of town or for more than 20 years. We picked the wrong day.
Yeah, yeah, her name's gonna be Everly. Yeah, we're super excited, and that's why I was like, well, I have to get me a co-instructor for the first little bit. But no, she's on board, and she's gonna be starting at the beginning with me.